So Bitcoin has rallied to new all-time highs at 126k. Lots of people are losing their mind right now, and a lot of people are also calling me wrong. Lately, the kind of videos that I've been making have been suggestive that Bitcoin is going to drop, and it's probably not the best time to buy. Now, usually for a market that has lasted the entirety of its cycle, this is usually the period where everybody stays extremely bullish. And of course, this does not make me bullish. It actually makes me cautious. As I've been saying since, I really think this is not the best time to start buying Bitcoin. I think there is a much larger correction coming, and then you get a better opportunity to buy the dip. One of the most common comments that I got in one of my videos was suggesting that the Bitcoin bull run is just starting, and basically saying that me saying that the bull run started in 2022 is completely wrong. Now, I have no problem with you countering my analysis, but I really think that anyone that is going to counter my analysis should make sure that they've looked at the charts first, because these things are literally in plain sight. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm just telling you what is in the charts. If you look at the charts, you will also see it. So there are a couple of things I want to discuss in today's video. I want to discuss, number one, when the bull run started. Number two, I want to discuss market cycles. And number three, which is the most important thing, I want to discuss the dollar index, because the dollar index is at a point right now that nobody is really looking at it, except a few people, obviously. But I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So if this is something that you're excited about, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, share, and do all that nice stuff, because this video is going to be hot. All right, let's get into it. Now, to address the question of what is a bull run, it is very simple. The bull run is an extended period whereby we keep having higher highs in the market, where the market is basically going up. That is a bull run. It is very simple. When the market starts going up, coming to the charts here, it is very clear. Just by looking at these charts, what can you see? When did the prices start to go up in this cycle? This was the top of the previous cycle, which was November of 2021. This was the top here, right? Now, from when this happened, the market started to drop, as you can see. I'm not making it up. You can see it now. The market was declining. This was an how many percent drop? This was a 77% drop. So the market was definitely bearish. But guess when that changed? This was where it changed, over here. Now, as you can see, from this period up until right now, the market has kept on going up. It has been up by over 600 to 700%. Just from here like this. And when was this date? This was December of 2022. It's very basic. As you can see, Bitcoin has not gone down again. And once Bitcoin starts going up, this stirs up interest in people regarding crypto, so they then move into altcoins. That's why Bitcoin moves first and then altcoins follow. This is basically it. I don't know how people can argue against something like this. It's a different thing if we didn't have charts to show us these facts, but this is right here staring at you. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's now talk about the cycles. So as the cycles actually broken, or we still need to watch out for it. Now, this is the Bitcoin cycles, right? This is the Bitcoin entire cycle. Because of this analysis was how I was able to get the perfect bottom of the market during the bear market. Because of this analysis, that was why I was buying Bitcoin right here. Now, this same analysis is pointing out that we are close to the top. I admit that definitely I called it a little bit too early. I was looking at these two to be the top, simply because of the fact that it was a double top and it was happening right at the period where I expect Bitcoin to top out. So that was the reason for this. But the fact that we've cleared above here, it really doesn't change much. In fact, it just means that Bitcoin has entered a range. Now, there are only two types of markets. It is either the market is trending or the market is range bound. If it's trending, it's either bullish or bearish. And if it's ranging, it means the market is either about to continue in a particular direction or reverse. So basically, anything could be happening right now in this place. It could be a range bound market that is eventually turning into a breakout to the upside, or it is a reversal that is taking place. Either way, it doesn't make any sense to rule any scenario out. Either way, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense to rule out any of these options, simply because of the fact that we have been in this market since 2022, and usually the cycle ends around this period. Now, if you look at these dates here, we have the halving event taking place here, and we have 546 days after the halving event that Bitcoin tops out. And from this chart here, you can see that this puts us here at 20th of October. I really think this is worth paying attention to, but most people are really quick to say, oh, you were wrong, simply because of the fact that Bitcoin has made new all-time highs. But when you think about it, if you invest What would you rather make? Would you rather make 3% profit or 10% profit or even 15% profit as opposed to making something like 700% profit like I just showed you? I don't know which you value more, but in my opinion, I think 700, the higher percentage, is much more interesting to me because of how much I've been saying that people should take profit and probably should not really be buying too much of anything right now. People have called me a bear boy, they've called me bearish, and they've said that I'm a permanent bear. And I remember this feeling because this was the exact same feeling I was having when I was telling people to buy Bitcoin in 2022. They were calling me a permanent bull boy. Bull boy is here again. Some of the people that I know said that Bitcoin is going to $10,000 and they had evidence in the chat. But the cycles have always repeated, so therefore I have no reason to think it's not going to repeat right now. That's the theory. That's the thesis. Many people have the opinion that the cycle is going to break. Maybe, maybe not. But I can't tell yet until it actually happens. Now, part of the things that we need to watch out for as well is this over here, which is the MACD here. See, the MACD was already in a bearish momentum already. This is on the weekly time frame. It was already on the bearish momentum already, but due to what just happened, prices reversed inversely. Prices reversed, and we are literally about to have a crossover here. But the thing with crossovers like this is that they don't last. That's the honest truth. A crossover that happens like this, usually the crossover is supposed to happen somewhere as low as here, as it has happened in the past, as you can see. But if it's happening here, it means it's kind of implies manipulation, which is implying that we are going to likely have something like this, where the market does something like this, with these oscillators. It's eventually drops down. You get the point, even though I do rubbish. But this is what it gives actually, and that's even if it makes it that far. It could just literally start reversing back here, having deceived everybody into buying. That's the thing about this market. It plays with your emotions a lot. Now look at this here. On the MACD here, we have a bullish momentum here. But the thing about this bullish momentum on the MACD is that it did not go as low as here to get that momentum, to gather enough momentum to actually what they call it, to actually validate that move. This simply implies to me that there's a lot of liquidity to grab on the downside, which means it is possible that this could reverse as well. But these are things to pay attention to. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't hold the crystal ball, obviously, but I'm just saying that this is something that is definitely worth paying attention to. And no, I'm not a permanent bear boy. I'm just paying attention to what is going on in the charts. Now, lastly, there is one more thing that I want to show to you, which is the dollar index. Now, this is probably going to blow your mind. It's a very interesting theory. Look at this. Yeah, we have the dollar index. This is the entire life cycle of the dollar since the inception of Bitcoin. That means ever since Bitcoin came into circulation. This is the dollar index. And if you look very closely, you see that we have been in a trend. Bitcoin was birthed in 2009, so somewhere around here, around this period was the birth of Bitcoin, somewhere around here. Now, anyone who studies the charts knows that whenever the dollar is strong, risk on assets are going to get weaker because they are opposite pairs. If the dollar gets stronger, it means people are removing their money from risk on assets and putting it in the dollar, which makes it stronger. But if the dollar gets weaker, it means people are taking their money out of the dollars and putting it into assets and investing and all that stuff. So if this is what is going on in the charts, that means whenever prices of the dollar index goes up, it means that risk on assets are likely going to drop. And I'll prove it to you. So look at this here. What you're seeing right here is these white lines here. In fact, let me change this to a different color. Let me change this to red. Now, yes, this red line that you can see here is an indication of the entire halving period of Bitcoin. The halving period of Bitcoin. That's the day that Bitcoin got the halving of Bitcoin got what that's the day that the reward for mining Bitcoin got cut into half. That's the halving event. Now, each time we have the halving event, we then experience something called the bull run. Yeah, or it usually leads towards the end of the bull run, in my opinion, whenever we have that Bitcoin halving. So as you can see here, this is the Bitcoin halving in 2012 November, and it happened like this, and then the dollar lost value and dropped and bottomed at this point here, which was March 2015. No, March 2014. Now, what we are going to be doing is some comparison. So look at this here. Let us mark this period here. This is okay, let's start with this one. This was April of 2014. So let's see where Bitcoin was at in April of 2014. This is April of 2014. April of 2014 is here, somewhere around here. Yeah, here precisely. So you can see very clearly what happened. April of 2014 and Bitcoin lost value. This was almost how many percent in value? We are literally doing this together. Yeah, this was a 73% down in value, right? On that kind of bottom, on this 73% down. And let's go back here. Let's look at this here. Let's look at this next one here. Now this next one here was February of 2018. Now if we go to February of 2018 on the Bitcoin chart, we are looking at here, this period. Look at this. Bear market again. As you can see, I'm not making this stuff up, guys. I'm showing you exactly what is happening in the charts. Bear market again. Let's keep checking on the charts again. After the halving, we got bottom here. Now look at this. This was a double bottom in 2021. We had one bottom here, another bottom here, double bottom around this June period up until a break above here, which was in July, August, and all of this period here. And if you check on the charts here, you can see it was in all of those periods here. These were selling opportunities for the market. Now those who had sold into all of these rallies here definitely saved a lot of money from this huge over 80 to 70% crash. Now if we go to the structure of the charts here, what can we see here? Like I said, we have a channel. This channel is going up, evidently, as you can see. Now the thing with channels is that they can either break to the downside, or or they continue upwards, but eventually they are likely going to break because there's a lot of liquidity here. So the question is, when is it going to break? Well, I don't know, and I don't think it's probably going to happen right now. I highly doubt it anyway. Now let's talk about the structure. Let's talk about the market structure. Look at this. We have a huge area here that this part was acting as a resistance before. We had clear resistance going on here, this whole area here, clear resistance, and then prices went and broke above it and then turned it into support. As you can see, it then became a support level, and meanwhile we were establishing resistance over here. This whole area became a resistance. Now prices are here and we've established a support here, flipping what was a resistance level before into a support level. And we have several things to back it up here. Looking at it here, we have this huge cross here on the MACD here, suggesting that buyers are coming into the market. People are interested in buying the dollars right now. And if you even go to something like the monthly time frame, you can see the exact same implications here. Look at this. We literally just printed, first of all, we literally just printed a bullish engulfing here. Yeah, and then we had bearish candles, but these bearish candles were not able to close below the engulfing, as you can see. And now we are establishing strong beginning of the month candlesticks. This is a monthly candle, by the way, and as you can see here, it's very clear. Like, this is not something that I'm making up. And like I said at the beginning of this video, risk on assets and the dollar index are direct opposites. Now if you look at the MACD here on this monthly time frame, you can see very clearly we are gathering momentum to the upside. This is not something that I made up. This is something that you can see. The same thing happened here, the same thing happened here, the same thing happened here, the same thing happened here. And if you check the charts to see what happened in these places, you see that the dollar index actually went higher. As you can see, from here like this, dollar index went high. From here like this, dollar index went high. So this is definitely something that is worth paying attention to. We are in a huge demand area here on the dollar index, and it just happens to be happening right at when the market cycle is supposed to end. I don't know, man. You be the judge. What do you think is going on here? I don't know. I don't want to be jumping into conclusions again. I honestly don't want to put anything into your mind. I want you to think about it yourself. Just look at the charts and let me know what you think is going on. Do you really think that all of these things, all of this data that I just presented to you is complete BS and Bitcoin is going up to the moon? Or do you think people ought to be more cautious right now? But I must say though, when it comes to altcoins, I think altcoins are very weird in my opinion. They are in a situation where it keeps looking like it's good to buy them, but the more you buy them, the lower it gets. To be honest, while on the other side, Bitcoin is going up. I think altcoins are really, really weird. And look at this. If you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart as well, you can see very clearly that the dominance chart found support right at the area where I was saying dominance chart was going to find support. That's exactly what happened. And as you can see very clearly, it is on an uptrend. And this uptrend is likely going to be a big one. This could push Bitcoin back above to maybe 73% dominance on this chart just by looking at it here. But we're going to have to see what happens. But I'm just saying that it looks very much like it might do that. Or this may just be what will occur, which is this 63% move that I've been talking about for weeks now. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash the like button. I also took a couple of positions here. I took a position on this altcoin here, which is Reef. I made a buy at this point here. I made a very interesting buy on that position, but right now I've actually closed out on that position. I may open another one, I don't know yet. But this was the projection. The projection was that maybe prices would get as high as here. But if I really wanted to critically look at these charts, this would be a better area that I'll be considering to buy when prices eventually get here. And I don't know what prices are going to be like by that time. If prices get here and then break below it, it's definitely going to be an issue. But definitely this area here does not look like a very, very strong support level that would hold. In my opinion, it looks like this would be a better area to, consider buying really, really crazy. That's for dog with heart, with this Reef coin here. Now looking at Ethereum on the other hand, Ethereum still looks scary in my opinion. It still looks very scary. It looks very scary. We are literally sitting at a macro resistance for Ethereum. So if Ethereum breaks above this level here, then it's massive bullish. Yeah, massive bullish. But if it doesn't, then we do have an issue. And we have to be careful with these things, or you have to be careful with these things anyway, because we could get a situation whereby Ethereum just breaks up above here, because there are lots of people that are bearish, sweeps the liquidity. Maybe it does something like this, ride it up a little bit like this and then drop. Ethereum could definitely do something like this, or maybe drop to something like here. It's definitely a move that could happen with Ethereum, especially when all of these indicators are pointing to the same direction as well. Look at this here. We just barely missed this. We just barely missed this cross here on the MACD. We just barely missed it. And you guys know exactly what happens when this cross happens. It's usually bad for Ethereum prices. For any price at the end of the day, it's probably going to keep dropping much lower if this cross happens. Fingers crossed. There's a lot going on. Definitely if it breaks out positive, I'm going to be the first person to come here and say, okay, the cycles have broken, everything has changed. But until the cycles do break and everything does change, I'm not going to say everything has changed. I hope you get the point. So if you've enjoyed today's video, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, share, and do all that necessary stuff to push this video to reach a lot of people. I will see you in the next video. Bye.